walked in the club. Everything changed when I walked in the club. He was looking at me like, wow, if you were on my body, I'd drip and I'd drown. So he says, I heard you're a singer. I live in a penthouse, it's on the east side. I can tell what he implied. I don't trust my decisions I make after midnight. That's like, gatekeep, call this new bitch mainstream. Toxic, hypnotic, pop a couple balls from his wallet. Weakest photos naked, low bitch think it's gold plated. Joyriding.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining us with Get Into It with Taz and Chris. And tonight we have a special guest who gave us our opening video, D-Mac.
In the house.
Now, before we jump into anything else, we're going to get to Marvel, DC, and X-Men, you guys. But we do have some updates that we do need to bring to you.
Yeah.
This video, now I do know the PACT Act, anybody who joined me last night knows that the PACT Act did finally pass. But as I said, this opening video came to us graciously by D-Mac. Thank you very much, D-Mac. How you put that together. Wonderful. There were 11 that still voted against it. You're on mute, D-Mac.
Not even to mention the 174 House of Representatives, including Ms. Lauren Boebert and Ms. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who also voted nay on this, just in case you were wondering. 174, by the way. 174.
Ms. Colbert.
Oh, by the way, shameless plug. I have a new show that's coming out soon. It's called Political Tea. And it's going to be, and my first guest is going to be Miss Lauren Boebert. Yay!
And the poll.
Baby, it's going to be fire. And I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I am so excited. Okay. Now, now we've been watching this Deshaun Watson case, and I got to give you all an update. And for those of you all that have messaged me or emailed me through the day, that have followed me for quite a while on Instagram, yes, I know about the whole Alex Jones thing and the slip up, we'll say a slip up with his attorney. I'm going to discuss that tomorrow night because there's a bit more information I need to get before we can actually speak on it. And y'all know I'm not going to put anything out that I can't verify. So
that's a good one.
Just give me another 24 hours to verify some information and garner it. And people who don't know why folks on Instagram love to give me information on Alex Jones, real quick, when he was going through his divorce and he admitted in the divorce proceedings that his podcast was for entertainment purposes only and that he was basically lying, I put up the screenshots and dingbat Alex Jones liked my post.
Ooh.
And reposted it as if,
oh my God, how stupid do you have to be?
Yeah. Because I got an influx of people that were like, you're on his page. And I'm like, I shouldn't be. Like,
that would like being on Marjorie's page.
Right. I was like,
wait. If I land on Lauren Boebert's page for this particular show, I will fall out. Fall out. No cap.
Or you might get blocked like when I got blocked by Trump.
Even better, because that will give me more clout, and I'll be like, well, you're just giving me clout, right? I was like, baby, you're giving me more clout by blocking me or saying that I did something. But okay, thanks. Go off.
Yes.
That part. Now, coming from athlonsports.com, former NFL player furious with Deshaun Watson's suspension length. Former NFL player Silas Reed Jr. is furious with the length of Deshaun Watson's suspension. Red, the former Penn State and USC running back, took to Twitter this Monday afternoon to share his reaction to the Watson punishment ruling. Red, who played one season for Washington, go Chris, during his NFL career, suspended for an entire season for marijuana use. I remember that. Watson, meanwhile, received only 6 games despite being accused of sexual misconduct by 25 women.
Whoa, wait a minute. Say that again?
You could get more
Watson,
games.
meanwhile, received only 6 games.
You'd get more games by taking the wrong vitamins.
Yeah. Watson, meanwhile, received only 6 games despite being accused of sexual misconduct by 25 women.
And the other person got how much?
They were suspended for a whole season for marijuana.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But remember,
but I thought they were saying that the 6th game isn't necessarily where they could end things. Like they could still potentially add to that, but still it's not going to come close to what people thought would have been close to or at a full year.
But if you all remember, all of my commentary was with the trade that happened, everything else, I didn't believe he was going to get a harsh punishment. I said that the math wasn't mathing. And people kept telling me, oh, you're crazy. No, they're going to drop the hand. No, because I remember Ben Roethlisberger, and they swept that under the rug. He is not the first. He will not be the last. I'm not saying this as a flex or to condone his behavior, but first of all, professional sports, period, when it comes to men in sports, they don't hand out proper
Yeah.
They hand out more. They hand out more.
Like the Ray Rice thing where we saw him.
Well, yeah, because we've had NFL players go to trial for murder, didn't have lengthy suspensions. We've had domestic abuse caught on tape, didn't have lengthy suspension.
I mean, with Ray Rice, it affected his future career, but at the time, people were, I mean, you had it on video, like him cold-cocked his girl.
Let's not forget what happened to Ocho Cinco. Now, mind you, new evidence has come out that they were both tussling. Mm-hmm. And he lost endorsements. He lost everything. Yeah. But you mean to tell me this person has been accused of 25 women? 25 women have accused this person of sexual assault, and he only got 6 games? No. Mm-mm. Right. I was like, so that means to tell me that y'all care more about putting butts in the seats than actual justice.
But then they're talking about how he's already served some of because he sat out last season. He was out.
I don't give a rat's behind.
Last season had nothing to do with this. This was about a contract dispute with his team. So you can't use that as part of his time
sentence.
Off. Right. So I was like, why were people even mentioning last season him being out? That had nothing to do with this. That had to do with his team that he was with. Their contract dispute.
Say that one more time for the idiots in the back.
But hold on, here's another nugget. Okay. I'm not going to read this article. I'm just going to give you all the cliff notes real quick because we do have other stuff to get together and we need to get into.
Give us the chicky nugget.
From LarryBrownSports.com, who's been a great source for us here. Deshaun Watson is already appealing this decision. Mm-hmm. Like,
because he's an asshole.
Like, that should have been a home run hit for him.
It's like,
that was the best case scenario for him.
Exactly. And once again, for those of y'all in the back that think because I got boobies and a uterus and ovaries that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to business and sports, let this be a lesson.
Come up to the front, please, before you start talking.
She's
up to the
front. Of Hoosh fan club.
Oh, quick nugget. So 12 years ago, my oldest son, working at his first job, well, technically second job, got a chance to meet Ray Mawaluga. 12 years later, his son, while at an outing, got a chance to meet and also, like his father, take a picture with Ray Mawaluga.
Yay.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I also realized that my tiny humans look very Samoan. We are not Samoan. But Greg Locke, pastor, I'm using this loosely. Greg Locke is at it again. And I want to make you all aware of some things because Greg Locke has put out some lies here recently to garner victimhood. So let's run this and yeah. Would you you won't get us both in trouble, D-Mac.
It's all lies.
For what? Him lying?
Don't flip off the pastor. We may feel a type of way. Somebody come back to my
that's a
daddy
faux-
or
Okay,
your
first of
mama.
all,
pastor.
this
Wait a
pause.
minute, hold on. If somebody come back to my daddy or your mama and say we flipped off a pastor, they don't care if it's a lying pastor. We's gonna get in trouble.
That's a faux pastor.
Thank
I
you.
know it's a faux pastor, but we supposed to lead up to them.
Pause. It's fun. Yeah, I know. I'm using Auntie Wig's famous pause.
I'm not worried about likeness.
Yes. we love shouting out Auntie Wigs here. Hey, whoop whoop. If y'all don't follow Auntie Wigs, 2Gs on TikTok, go follow her. You will be a better person for it. Go follow Auntie Wigs on TikTok. You will definitely be a better person.
I just love when she says it. Pause. It's just so funny. But I'm sorry, no tea, no shade. This is the false prophets that was prophesied and talked about. So yeah, no, I'm not gonna give him that grace.
Right.
And second of all, I'm not judging that person. I'm just saying I'm not trusting anything that you're going to say to me at all.
No. You're no, that's not what I was saying. I was
Oh, okay. I know I got what you meant. I was just like, girl, do you think I honestly care?
I'm already well. I'm skating on thin ice. I done lost a lot of JC points.
I still got a couple in the bank, girl. So I'm a use them.
It's only Wednesday, and I done lost quite a few JC points, but it's me. We're not surprised. But let's roll this footage and see y'all another.
Greg Locke a while back claimed to have given up his tax-exempt status.
So guess what I did this week? I got an attorney, and I dissolved our stinking 501c3 in this church because the government ain't going to tell me what I can and what I can't say. So IRS, we don't need your stupid tax-exempt status. You can put it in a bag and burn it in your front yard for all we care. I renounce 501c3 communism in this church. So we'll say what we want to, Skippy Lou. And the IRS and the FBI and everybody we've been turned into can eat my dirty socks on live TV.
But it's communism now. It wasn't communism when he established
I need a holy water.
Right. It wasn't communism when he established his church and filed for that 403c tax exemption. It's just communism now. So is he saying that his fellow bosom buddy mega church pastors are communists? See, this is what happens when you run your mouth and you're really not a man of the cloth and you really weren't called. See, this is what we say when we say everybody is not called. Because to be a minister, let alone a pastor, you need to be called into the ministry. I don't mean to preach to y'all tonight, but guess what I'm about to do? Okay, we're supposed to keep our light trimmed and burning. We are supposed to be our brother's keepers. We're also supposed to be on the ready for the return of the bridegroom at any given time, any given place. Okay, keep that light trimmed and burning. Where is your oil to put into it? What are you putting into the Lord? It looks like you are just taking from his people. It wasn't communism when you were benefiting from it, but you wanted to get political. You wanted to push that Christian nationalist BS. And it came back to bite you in the buttocks. You are not supposed to be up here in the pulpit where you as a pastor are supposed to be the shepherd to the sheep. And you are leading them astray. And instead of you being the shepherd, you are being the head of the slaughterhouse. Woo! Can I get an amen in this here?
Your daddy be proud of you. Yes.
I got my prayer shawl on.
I saw that. Woo! Women. Woo! Woo! Now let's send the collection plate around. I'm just playing. Don't send no collection.
So here's my take on this. Brittany, don't you be saying amen.
Yes.
Don't you be saying amen in this piece tonight. Don't you come over here saying amen.
Oh, wait a minute. Mr. Rogers done came in here. It did. And I talked about that the other day. The sweaty angel wing. He was sweating. You men, like some of y'all wear like the undershirts. He was sweating and it grabbed hold to his undershirt. And they were swearing up and down it was angel wings. Swearing up and down.
So here's my take on it, sir. since that's what you said you did, girl. I mean, remember, keyword being said. You do realize that once you do dissolve that, all those years of back taxes are going to have to be paid, right?
An audit is going to happen.
Or not.
They may not make him, well, he can't pay back taxes because he was approved, but an audit will happen. And they will look at a lot of things because now you become for profit. So there's different rules for nonprofit and for profit. And before people go, Taz, you don't know. Yes, I do. I run a for-profit business, but I work with nonprofit organizations a lot. There's different rules. And when people assume that I get from these nonprofits, I don't, because they need to stay nonprofits.
He said tambourine.
And the tiny humans are for profit.
Yeah, the tiny humans are definitely for profit. Let us not forget when I let the candy dish is getting low now. I let the candy dish get low. And Tiny Muscolini looked at me with such sincerity and said, Gigi, are you running out of the money?
Oh.
Oh. You ever been called broke by a 2-year-old? Oh. Have you ever been called broke by a 2-year-old?
Dishonor.
She was ready to be shown the door.
But I'm like, yes, sir. I'm just like, you forget that you've bought planes, cars, trips, and other things.
Oh, have you seen his mega mansion?
Oh, yeah, baby. Because that's the next thing going. Again, if you cancel that status, baby, that mansion is going to come underneath your audit for taxes.
If you are part of the congregation for his church,
where that money going?
Those tithe and offering buckets, you're going to see them more often. Because he's not going to pay them taxes. He's going to pass that off to you.
You're going to pray on it.
Yeah, so don't be saying you got rid of something that helps you out. But while we're on the subject.
Something like that when it's so deep.
Good Lord. Sorry. My phone was right next to my computer. I'm sorry.
You know, this is the show with the most technical difficulties. It's on par.
Well, yeah, this is a show with the most personality.
Whoop, whoop, go Ginger. Go Ginger. Go Gingy.
I really want to stress something to our American people. Gathering close, y'all. Gathering close. But you do realize that y'all have literal tax shelters living in your states, right? No, you didn't. You didn't know that the megachurch or the universities down the street were just sitting on tax money that could be helping your state?
Or your senators' homes that they have in questionable neighborhoods that you never see them come in and out of?
I'm just making y'all aware. Because as far as I'm concerned, the fact that they don't make these people pay taxes, one, and they're still amassing massive amounts of property, two, and y'all have never thought to say, you know what, this tax evasion, tax exempt, my bad, sorry.
No, it's tax evasion.
I gotta say tax exempt for the kids.
But they on welfare for real, just like Trump.
I know. That's why I said I gotta say it for the kids. Shh.
Oh, we gotta compliment y'all.
Oh, Brittany. Oh.
Cause it's Brittany, bitch. No,
we do our best.
Yeah, so I just want to make y'all aware that, like, take my state from where I'm from in Connecticut. There's a school called Yale. Yeah. It has multiple properties, also including the hospital, which it's separate from the school. Separate.
I went to 2 schools that were like that had hospitals, and I just found out that the school I went through for graduate study now they have dorms for the students, But there are students that are like, oh, I want to move off campus and have a little bit more freedom and allow my friends to come and go. Because if you've lived in a dorm, if you know, you know. But the apartments they're renting are owned by my alma mater. And I live, DMAC knows this because he's been on FaceTime with me when I take my little walks. So DMAC, if I walk past my favorite store where I go get my water, my Reese's Sticks, if you don't like Reese's Sticks, argue with your mama, okay? And my chips. If I go past the store and make a right and go up the street, there's a Church of Scientology there. They own the whole block.
Again.
We're looking for Tom Cruise.
Okay, here's the thing, and then I know we got to move on.
He's been here because I got some, Chris, you know this, Ginger. I got some neighbors that, and I downloaded the next door, and if
we're going to call up Leah Remini.
Racism, download the Nextdoor app. Learn that will teach you who your neighbors really are.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that not just Tom Cruise, but a couple of other big wigs that try to act like they're for the cause are in the Church of Scientology, and they still have that Mormon hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
They still have that you can pay into for your salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not already rich, you have to give up. In the Church of Scientology, I've researched this, and if you have not seen Remini's documentary, please check it out. You have to give up everything. I worked with a woman
including
who was fearful for her mother because her mother joined the Church of Scientology, had to move into their housing, and she literally gave up everything, even family heirlooms, for them to sell, for her to take classes.
That's right. Yeah.
And their classes do not align with the Christianity umbrella that they claim that they're under.
Yeah.
But
there's
before
not a lot of brown sea or in the sea orders.
No, there's not. But because I know we got to move on because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But I was talking, just having a good old conversation with somebody, one of my coworkers, and I was like, see, here's the thing. Like I said, don't let me become president of this country. Just don't. That will be the very end of everybody's existence. Want to know why?
Well, first of all, he said I could be his chief of staff. Y'all don't want that.
I said first things first is I'm sorry, churches. I really am. But if you have over 100,000 members or more, your tax exempt status is gone, like off the top. Sorry, it's gone.
And just so y'all know, here's the caveat. I'm a pastor's child. He's a pastor's child also. We're speaking from experience.
That if your member count is over 100,000, bye. Tax exempt status gone. Like off the top. Not even playing. Schools, I'm sorry, I hate to do this to you, but I really don't. Tax exempt status gone. All those properties that you own that you have not been paying taxes for, those taxes are going back into the state in which they are, because this is ridiculous that a school will own so much property, but they're not paying taxes on it at all. But they're making their students pay more money because they're amassing more properties and quote unquote fixing them up for students. I was just like, that's not an enjoyment. I still got to pay that back if I didn't get no scholarships.
And in high school, I went to what's considered a semi-private school, which means you have to test into the school. And if you live outside the district, then you have to pay a certain amount to go there, because they have to, basically you're paying for the special busing that they have to give you to bring you out there. But here's the thing. My high school became a high school because the family that my high school was named after, their line was dwindling. So to be able to keep the historic family home with certain pictures in it and certain architectural things.
Mhm.
For a tax break, they turned it into a high school.
Mhm.
My school became, and there's several in the city that as a teenager I grew up in, where you'll see annexes, which are just trailers put on the property, where as a child you just be out there freezing or burning up as you're supposed to be trying to learn. We had a separate building that used to be a rec center, which technically, while I was still there during the summer, that separate building was still opened on certain levels as a rec center. That was a part of my high school. We did not have our own football field. There was no space for it. You couldn't just tear down houses and put it there. And we were right next to a hospital. And those of y'all in Cincinnati, Ohio, you know the school that I'm talking about because my postgraduate was right across the street. Like I went to school. When people sit there and say, "Oh, you're lying. You didn't meet this person who played in the NBA." You did. My high school was across from the University of Cincinnati. It, and I was a cheerleader and I was on swim team. So in between when I would go get something to eat, guess who I was running into? My high school was in a college town.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. Go Bearcats.
But we can have a conversation about that on a whole nother day because some predatory stuff going on. But go
Yeah.
ahead and finish up your thoughts. I'm gonna skip the last two videos and just save those for tomorrow because I really want to get into the
Do you
X-Men MCU DC conversation with these two gentlemen because I know
Warner
that they
Brothers.
have impeccable insight, and I've got my reference books on the other side of me if I have to go grab them. Not for the people on the panel with me, but sometimes y'all want to comment, y'all be
Wow.
believing.
Watch
Chucking
out.
and jiving. So, and then I got two more final points, and then that's it. The second thing is I'm going to honestly have to say trade schools will be a thing. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be forcing people to be learning things that they're not going to use in the real world. What for?
I'm here for
I'd
that
rather,
because I
I'd
have
rather
one
be
right
training
now.
people. I'd rather be training people for heating and cooling, which again will never go out of style. I'd
And
rather
plumbing because
and plumbing
DMAC,
again
you
never
know
go
my
out of
one
style.
son. Well, DMAC, you know my one son because y'all talk on the regular. Um, he chose a trade school over traditional college because he knows what his interest is. He knows what his passion is. He knows what he's good at. And there are people like, why didn't you encourage him to go to college? That's not his plot in life.
I'm
And
like,
the thing about it is the training that he's getting and the intricacy because of his just God-given ability to learn things.
Right.
Oh, he gonna be fine. And DMAC will
Right.
take DMAC this past weekend for the viewing party. Didn't he show up to my house with the dinner? He was like, Mama, don't cook. And it wasn't no cheap dinner neither. It was the like it was the expensive good
It
dinner.
was not no Stofers.
No, it
but
wasn't.
yep. So I'm just like, because okay, look at again. I'm small pivot. Look at Black people before the 1970s. A lot of them were funding the people who were protesting and doing all of that. You didn't see the constant breakup of family. Like we had sort of gotten back to some equilibrium where families were sticking together as much as they can. But then the 1970s came in, and you had the two Republican presidents back to back with the war on drugs and everything else, and just decimated a whole generation of men.
12 years.
Made
But
it so
here's-
that now you had to have a college education to get the same jobs that they were already doing, that they had gotten a trade school learning in. Now you have to have a diploma to get the job, and that wasn't the case before.
And here's the thing, y'all know I'm always gonna bring the history. Grandfathering was a thing. You could be grandfathered into a position. And this, let me explain to you what it means. You could come in as an apprentice or at an entry level position. Your boss could be like, Dad, this person has the same natural talent as me. They would take you under their wing and teach you the ins and outs. My granny was a surgical tech. She didn't go to school for that position. She was grandfathered in. She was taught. And actually grandfathering was better than going to college or going to a trade school, because you were taught specifically what you needed to know for that job, and you had real time updates regarding it. You didn't have to wait for a journal to come out. You didn't have to wait for a class to be available for you to be updated. Also, here's a little caveat that people forget. Yes, there was a period of time where non-white people were convinced that their families were broken up. But let me also, because y'all know I'm the history guru, I'm the queen of history, because that's what I do, and I love it. Here's the thing. We were put under the standards of UK. I'm sorry. This was before it was the UK. Great Britain. European standards of a family. Every other culture, whether black, brown, green, yellow, purple, polka dot, striped, whatever, did not have the same concept or definition or understanding of what a family unit was. So my question to everybody is, did they really break up our families, or did they expand them? Because people in Great Britain at the time, when all of this started, they looked at, and this is why I don't care about losing accounts or being in Facebook or TikTok or Twitter jail. These two gentlemen know that. I don't care. But the one thing I hate about losing my original TikTok account is because I was connected with a woman who was saying, hey, in a completely Anglo-Saxon white family, it's very polarized. It's very pod-like. You have your family unit, then you get married, you have this family unit. You don't connect the two family units. And that's what they have in their mind, that you have to have a mother, father, where traditionally it was whoever was around you that loved you, cared about who was in your house, you cared about who, that's who your family was. And I think that's why certain people don't understand when folks can meet each other and have one conversation, and then they're like, you know, my cousin just said that. And they're like, you just met them. How's that your cousin? It's not a DNA thing. It's a, we connected. We're on the same vibe. We get it. That's my cousin. I know if something happened tonight, we just met, they gonna run up and they gonna give it to you. Or just like, I know me and D-Mac went through a situation where somebody was like, y'all aren't real cousins. Who told you that? And me and Chris, the resident ginger, we've told y'all about a certain
Nobody ever knew we were related.
Yeah, they came at us like, they've got to be secretly dating, and we're like, nah, we're just cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, I can't be from the Bahamas. Come on.
And I can't be a ginger.
right.
I done had red hair before.
I mean, I can't change this. It's natural. It's all natural.
But if any of us has an issue, we can hop on the phone, and our reactions, if you close your eyes and listen to our reactions, you can tell us that we weren't related in the spirit.
Of course.
Because I've had situations where the man across from me was like, you need to come down here and hide out for a couple days. The man down here was like, gather yourself.
Going up to Hartford.
Like I said, I was like, see, here's the thing, and see, this is what I say. Oh, and to my last point, I said, see, if I was to be elected again, those three things, like I said, churches and schools, I'm sorry, especially higher education, unless you're going for, and see, the higher education would not change. The only thing that would change about it is I would make that honestly only for if you're going for like a doctor or a nurse and just leave it at that. Any other schooling, if you decide, those are electives. Unless you're doing doctoring or nursing, that would be what my higher education would be for.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because I got turned off. I love science. I do. And they will both tell you I love science as much as I love history. But I get turned off by idiots that I end up in class with. And my papa, who went on to become a professor at my postgraduate college after deciding to start his teaching career at my high school right next to my physics class. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I'm still working through this. Yeah, DMAC has heard the stories. I'm still working through that. But he was like, don't give up on your love of science. Just take a basic biology class in college. I took biology as an elective. I know. Uber nerd who takes biology as an elective. And when I took it as an elective, y'all will not believe how many emails and letters I got. Like, did you mean to put this down as an elective? Yeah, I did.
Sheldon.
But once again, in taking the class, one, my professor was very biased and was saying some things like, go to the book, go to the text, and then like add their own. This was a male Marjorie Taylor Greene mixed with Lauren Boebert before I knew who Marjorie Taylor Greene or Lauren Boebert was. So I ended up dropping the class because I'm like, I'm getting irritated by this professor. I'm getting irritated with people in the class. And it was chipping away at my love for science. But hold on. Wait a second. Us PK. Okay, we always make trouble because that's how we are. Because blood is way thicker than water. Okay.
That's right.
There are a lot of terms and little sayings that we have that have been cut in half. So no, blood is not thicker than water. And I'm going to say this. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of homework and come back to me tomorrow. Google the full saying and then come back to me tomorrow.
But girl, they gonna be upset with us.
Let's jump into this. Let's start with the X-Men.
I just wanted to finish my teeny little point.
My apologies.
Because I know we only got 20 minutes left. So my last point there. Now this is gonna be a doozy, and y'all might come out of the box on me. We may have to go into witness protection program after this. So.
No, there's no we. We ain't speaking French tonight. You see what my shirt say? Oh, here's Irving. I ain't remixing nothing.
But the next thing I would do, the last and final thing I would do, I would bring in like about a good 12 of the best, and I stress the word best, tax experts ever. And we gonna get work on that budget. Oh, we gonna tackle that debt. We gonna tackle that. We gonna see where the dividends are and where the expenditures are, and we gonna see how come we got so many expenditures and not too many dividends. Things coming in. So yeah, no,
that fall asleep on the job, but
Oh, they wouldn't, girl. They would have coffee on regular, and I make sure there's somebody there to give it to them, make sure that they're awake.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the X-Men video. We're gonna talk about that. Yeah.
Sweet. Let's do it.
On. Let me. Okay. Sorry, I just want to look at the comments real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything that was. Okay. Here we go.
All right, Marvel fans, we just got some insane news that lets us know why the MCU hasn't been able to introduce classic X-Men characters. A recent reporter has come out and said the reason the MCU isn't introducing people like Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, Nightcrawler is because when Disney bought out Fox Studios, they still have to oblige by the old contracts they had, which has it that any actor playing an X-Men character cannot be replaced until the year after 2025. This now makes a lot more sense why we got Evan Peters as Quicksilver in WandaVision, why we got Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier in Doctor Strange 2, and why Marvel is right now able to move forward with Deadpool 3 with Ryan Reynolds, because those are all actors that were already part of the Fox universe and are not being replaced by another actor. So after the year 2025 with Secret Wars, that's when Marvel can start introducing their own version of Wolverine, their own version of Cyclops with the actors they want.
Well, Logan, what's his face, has gone on record saying as of right now he doesn't want to return. I mean, he's maybe kicking himself now, but
no, Jackman, I think, because Hugh Jackman is so unproblematic, so he's not aging like cottage cheese in the Sahara. People his actual age, and Hugh Jackman, as a parent, I will say this: Hugh Jackman's kids are getting to that fun age where you can enjoy their sporting events, their things, and you can joke with them. Like, you know how there's like a trend on social media where people are like, "Oh, you can take my phone, just don't look at my friend group chat." No, my thing is, I don't care how much somebody tries to expose me. You can't expose me until you get the chat between me and my kids. Because, baby, and Hugh Jackman is in that stage that I'm in with his kids. And he's like, forget another movie. I done stacked up this money. I'm going to enjoy just being daddy and kikiing and hee-heeing with these kids that done took me through it, done had me up to 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm supposed to be on set at 5 o'clock in the morning, that called me because they got a twitch in their tummy, and now we can kiki and hee-hee with each other. I get it. But for those that are like, oh, I'm not going to watch this movie because they have a low budget version of this, or why are they redoing this character? Why are they going back to the origins? Because they have to establish these actors in these characters in order to move on. And y'all, as much as I love Halle Berry, okay, Halle Berry, I do love her. But Storm was a very chocolate, very heavily melanated woman. And we need to bring that into the MCU. Storm is not light-skinned it.
Like, I can see the woman from American Gods playing Storm. If you've seen American Gods, you can look her up. She is stunning. And she can wait 2-3 more years. Trust me, she'll be ripe and ready.
Mm-hmm. And my thing is, it's like, let them, because the way the X-Men franchise started and how it evolved, a lot of people don't realize that X-Men are a part of the MCU. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you have different characters that you kind of have to, and it actually works out for Marvel. You have different characters that you need to focus on their origin and bring them in. Because think about it, as much as people loved the Avengers movies, when you had certain characters have their own standalone movies, and then you had an Avengers movie, another standalone movie. Then think about when you bring in the X-Men, people will finally have an understanding. Oh, yes, perfect.
Oh, okay.
But people will finally have an understanding of Wanda, aka the Scarlet Witch.
Right. But with the origins, that thing was going to get rolling. Obviously, Wolverine didn't do so well. And the Deadpool did really bad in there.
The first one? The
Origins.
Ryan Reynolds?
Wolverine Origins?
No, the second
Deadpool in Wolverine Origins.
No, not the Deadpool movie.
You're talking about the Deadpool that was in the Wolverine Origins movie?
Right.
Ah, okay, now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
We follow it.
So we were supposed to have gotten Remy LeBeau, right? That was one of the originals, all the way back to when the X-Men video games were popular. Everybody used Gambit. We never got Gambit, except for that one movie.
I have to say, I'm sorry. No tea, no shade. I use Storm more so than Gambit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, but he was one of the originals,
I mean,
so
that's fine, but you still got to bring Gambit into the.
you still had to bring him in. He was still just as big as the others back in the day.
My bad. I'm sorry.
Come here.
So
I just
I
wanna
just
hug
don't
you.
know.
I just want to hug you. Come here. No,
I
come
do
here.
not. No.
No, come here. Come here. I just want to hug you. Come here.
Yeah,
Oh. Never
yeah,
mind.
that's what you tell Urbane. I just want to hug you, Urbane.
But
Yeah, so
I was like I said, so I just showed you who I think will make a perfect Storm in 3
Yeah.
years. After she is gorgeous, and she
Mhm.
does a fantastic job on American Gods. She's
mhm,
She does.
mwah.
right.
And see, okay, let's discuss because we've been doing me and Taz have been doing this like for other things. But let's discuss. Let's
Go get a drink and some popcorn. We're gonna go over time. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. We're gonna go over time. Go get some popcorn, go get a drink, hydrate, libate, do whatever you need to do. Go on,
So,
D-Mac.
so Chris,
Yeah.
let's discuss this. With the caliber of actors that we have now, say in 3 years, who would you want to 1 play Wolverine and 2 play Gambit?
That's
believe this
still
to
left to
keep-
be determined because a lot of times they don't pick.
Well, I mean, just
Just for now, like if it was down the road, ooh, that's
I mean, just saying with
for
the
Wolver-
caliber of the young actors that we're getting, because a lot of new ones are coming up and coming. But I'm just saying, within 3 years, with some that we have now, so let's say exiting.
I mean, if you were looking at Wolverine, the only one that almost goes along with the Hugh Jackman Wolverine, if he was just slightly more in shape, I would have said Urban from The Boys.
I could actually see that
Right.
but
'Cause
see,
he's-
here's the thing. They keep forgetting that Wolverine is mad short. He is a short stack, like for real.
Yeah, but we're talking movie version. They always change
And I'm
what's
just
in
like,
the movies. The
like-
movie verse is always different from what is already known by fandoms.
but I could definitely see him doing that. You know, it's not like he can't get in shape. It's not like he can't.
No, but he has that edge to him.
Yep.
Be the no nonsense.
He's already got that gruff.
I don't care about anything. Just let me just be myself. Yeah, that's him.
And I can see the whole softy side with
Yeah.
the whole gene aspect of that. So I could totally see that
Yeah.
because you see that when he's talking about his wife.
Gambit would be a hard one because we have yet to see Gambit except in a small little scene in which X-Men was that?
That was Origins as well, unfortunately.
Right, yeah. And that was just one bumping into him basically.
It was horrible.
So
the shame the devil.
outside of that, we really don't have much to go on. He really doesn't have to be, a Louisiana guy or this or that. I mean, they can just use someone.
But the thing about it is, you do need to have a Creole individual. But the
Creole inspired.
no, Gambit is Creole.
Mhm.
I'm getting to that.
Like
I'm
Halle
just
Berry.
asking.
Like Halle
Here's
Berry.
the thing.
I'm just
Gambit
asking.
in interpretation is not 100% correct. So you have the opportunity on the silver screen, as they
Yeah.
would say,
In the movie
to
verse.
get it correct. But here's something bigger I want y'all to talk about. So I'm going to remove us from the feed. It's going to be about 3 minutes. There's 2 videos I want to play because I really, really, really want to get you two specifically. And I'm glad you decided to join us tonight, D-Mac, because when I pulled these videos, I had both of y'all in mind, but I was like, D-Mac does have other stuff going. I don't know if he's going to be able to join us. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight. So, slight trigger warning. The first video will feature Chadwick Boseman. So if seeing him is a trigger, step away for 16 seconds and then come back. Otherwise, these two clips do go together and you'll understand at the end. But like I said, I'm going to pull us from the feed and show these two videos because I want everybody to just focus on the videos and I want you all to focus on the videos as well, okay?
So you did get my text messages.
Well, let's talk about Namor the Submariner and his own emotional story in Wakanda Forever. What I like what they're doing with Namor is that they're not just introducing him as some villain within the MCU. The movie's gonna have a full story surrounding this character, allowing us to get to know him. Now, Namor, like his DC counterpart Aquaman, is a man of two worlds, and I don't think for a second that Wakanda Forever is not gonna connect that to the themes of biraciality. Because Namor, despite being a human Atlantean, and a third thing we'll get to in a second, has completely chosen his identity as an Atlantean of the seas. And it is this moment in transition that I think is going to explain why that is. I think that this could be the home of Namor's human father, and it might be the thing that gives Namor his hatred of the surface world. Now, as for that third thing, I think it's important for everyone to know that Namor is in fact a mutant, and sometimes considered the very first one. The evidence of this are the wings on his feet, because no other Atlantean has this, making this a sign of his mutation. As you can see, the same thing is true when he becomes an adult. He also doesn't need a water apparatus for when he goes to the surface world like the other Atlanteans. Namor is getting a full story like everyone else.
Now, for those that don't understand the connection between Chadwick Boseman training and Namor, Chadwick Boseman, you have to realize, in playing Black Panther, what has been his most prolific opponent? Namor.
Really?
So, the fact that he was already training, already getting ready, and even in the...
I'm sorry, I'm just throwing my brow, just trying to recollect in my own head, but keep talking.
No, even... Give me a moment, there will be pauses. When Chadwick was doing promotions for Black Panther, he kept trying to prepare us for his impending death. He knew he was not going to be here for a second movie for Black Panther, because he was famously quoted when people were like, well, what's on tap for Black Panther 2? And he was like, I'll be dead. I'll be gone. But because you have to realize, if you're going to go with canon, you're going to go with the comic book canon, anyone who takes on the Black Panther mantle, they have natural things within them, on top of vibranium that's implemented in the suits, that basically makes them invincible. The fact that he's training, now, I know it was for the movie, but I need y'all to look theoretically with me.
Mm-hmm.
He was training because his next logical battle was with Namor until... Actually, I don't know what's in this movie, so I'm just going to stop with the until. We'll talk about this after the movie debuts. But there's a reason why you had to have extra training. No disrespect to white people and white people in the comics, but if you look at the natural abilities, and then when they train on top of it, of BIPOC characters in comics, you have to give yourself an extra to be able to properly battle.
I mean, if you take into account, okay, let's say this. Let's take into account any of the USC fights that have not had people of color in them. The training is ultimately going to be different. Why? Because at this particular moment, you already know your opponent, i.e. yourself. You know, generally speaking, where they're going to be coming from. Not saying that you won't, that they probably won't study their fighting style and all that shenanigans, But again, the training is not going to differ from what you're already doing. But when you see that they're coming with a person of color in that aspect, they're knowing that at this particular point, I'm gonna have to change some things up because I don't know if they're gonna be pulling some lefts when I'm thinking they're gonna be pulling rights. I don't know if they're gonna be kicking when I'm supposed to be punching. I don't know which way this is going to go. I need to make sure I'm fully prepared mentally and physically for what's going to happen because they're not going to think they're not going to think inside the box like I am and when I'm facing somebody who looks like me because they're already be like I need to win this fight and however I can legally to do so will be done. And I'm not saying that the white counterparts don't think like that, but they're still this is going to be funny. They're still living in a world based on rules that they have made. Where black people and BIPOC people, we have had to live outside of those rules for a very long time because we were not supposed to, quote unquote, be in the same area. So now that we're allowed to, we gonna work that outside the ruling, still legally again to do what we need to get done.
But see, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up the legal aspect. But do you think it's more the white characters that are worried about the legality and the BIPOC creators that are more concerned about the morality?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, without a question.
Chris?
I agree.
I mean, let's put it all on the paint. Let's put oh God, what is her name? No tea, no shade. No tea, no shade. If there was ever a DC crossover, I would kill for. And I stress the word kill for. I would kill for the match between Okoye and Wonder Woman. I would kill for that match. Kill for it. Kill for that match.
It's funny you bring that up. I was taking Urbane out for a walk, and I have a neighbor who is like fervent DC. Like she don't mess with Marvel at all.
Wow.
And if you know, y'all know I got the reference books, not just the comics. I got the reference books. Oh, yeah. And side note, for the gentleman on the ticker talk that said that you cannot be a comic book fan if you don't own at least 20 comic books. Do you know how much good comic books cost if you want the canon, if you want the origins? Baby, I got more than 20 and I got the reference books to go with it. So come holler at me. But anyway, I digress. That right there,
the holy grail.
Do you know how many movies you could make off of that? Because each one of them would end in a cliffhanger. Because when you compare their powers side by side, one could get the best of the other, but then they could flip it and then get the best of the other, then flip it, then get the best of the.
So here's the thing. Here's the caveat with this. Here's the caveat. So she's called to Themyscira, which everybody knows that Wonder Woman's powers do not work there. Like they are specifically not in effect due to the agreement that her mother made when she quote unquote formed out of clay and all that shenanigans, whatever. They keep changing the canon every 5 seconds. But again, most of the things have been said that when she's on Themyscirian soil, powers gone. But it's been quoted, especially in the contest where Artemis gets chosen as the new Wonder Woman, that she could take on 6 fighters at once. Now these are people who do fighting on the regular. They that's all they live for, and not even break a sweat. So I was like, okay.
And if y'all don't know the origin stories of Artemis,
check that out. It was a good ride.
From the Justice League, Wonder Woman wasn't the first person that Artemis was underneath.
Again, check it out. It's a good ride. So they meet in Themyscira, and it's a contest. Girl, ooh, I would kill for that. I mean, I'm having palpitations just thinking about it.
But the DCEU keeps messing up because they're gonna let the Ezra Miller project go through. Y'all know what they scrapped? Now they're saying that they're letting the Ezra Miller project go through because of the cost of it, but the project that they're scrapping costs twice as much.
See, here's my thing.
They're making controversy to sell tickets, and they're forgetting that, baby, no, we're not doing
We're not
that.
doing that.
We're not promoting abuse, kidnapping, and most importantly, let me say this, and let me say it with my full
With your whole
chest.
chest.
We are not supporting more MMIW. We are not going to support more missing Indigenous women. We're not going to support more exploited Indigenous women. And I know that the person that they currently have under their whim is a two-spirit person. We're not going to support that either. We are not going to exploit or condone two-spirit individuals being groomed. We're not going to be behind anybody being groomed, exploited, abused, or anything, especially from our Indigenous brothers, sisters, and cousins. No, we're not going to take it from our aunties. No, we're not going to do that. So y'all can go ahead and put that movie out and watch it tank.
Thank you.
Because the only people who are going to watch that movie are from NAMBLA, and we don't mess with NAMBLA.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'm not sure why they don't just use the one on their
So tell me this for
on Netflix
in the DC verse.
He's already
will
there.
This merger affect Snyder continuing with several projects then going forward? Do you think it'll affect him being such a crucial part of DC?
Here's the thing. Snyder has given the DCEU the most prolific movies. They are messing with Snyder's reputation because they decided to re-release something Snyder didn't want re-released. Mm-hmm. Snyder didn't know about about what was in, like, nobody knew. We were all taken aback. And when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna re-release that, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna," so please, people, do not take a crazed actor and put their craziness on a director, thinking that this director pushed for a re-release. He did not. Yeah, D-Mac.
Point of order. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab my point of order so I can give a visual.
Okay.
Yeah, visual.
I mean, if you're gonna do that, you need to shake it fast. Watch yourself.
Girl, bye. Okay. As many of you can see, these lovely little DC movies here. Yes. I'm not going to play them all, but, you know, all of these are DC big. I don't understand how all these... Okay, yeah, all these are DC. I thought I grabbed the Marvel ones by mistake, but they're over there. All these are all animated.
Don't let DC give Marvel the monkeypox.
We're gonna have a conversation later because you ain't right for that.
That's a Jurassic Pox.
But all with a few exceptions, I will say there are a few exceptions. All of DC's animated movies slap.
They do.
Slap. And I'm just like, so you mean to tell me whoever is writing the scripts for these can't write a script for the live action? What is going on? And it seems to be okay. And here's the funny thing: it's the actual opposite for the live action Marvel versus the animated Marvel. Animated Marvel is trash, absolute garbage. And I was just like, y'all just got mixed up, right? So basically, whoever's basically quote unquote directing the Marvel animated is directing the live action DC. And whoever the live action Marvel is directing the animated.
That's a big crossover.
What the heck? What happened? What y'all doing?
Something merged at a Comic-Con.
I'm just like, because when I tell you, anytime that a general DC animated movie has dropped evidence, I go buy it. Like one time I went to go see, I thought I was like, I saw one of the, I think it was Red Sun that it just came out. I went to literally go, I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to wait till payday to go buy it. Not realizing I had already bought it. It's like, thank God I didn't have no money.
You get on me when I be forgetting that I'm a member. But hold on, let's dig a little bit more into Namor.
Let's talk about Namor the Samaritan.
What? Oh, sorry, no, not Namor. The Easter egg. Sorry, the Easter egg.
Do y'all remember this scene from Black Panther?
Sorry, mother.
How are you feeling today, Mama?
Proud. Your father and I will talk about this day all the time.
Now, I've told people that she can travel the astral plane. And this is why you never see another king. You never see her looking for another king. And people are like, no, it's woman empowerment. It is woman empowerment, but it's the ability that and I talked about this with my oldest daughter today. And I was like, if I had her powers, do you realize how many times I would go back and chit chat with Diane, Carol, and Maddie? I'm like, people aren't realizing that his mother has ascended to a certain point. And it's a certain point of, okay, I might get canceled for this, but all you Omarion lovers, when he says that he's unbothered, no, she's unbothered. He's very bothered. That's why there's a part 2. There's a little documentary to talk about his baby mama disrespects him. That's narcissistic, but that's a conversation for another day. She's able to travel the astral plane because she didn't talk about T'Challa's father in the past tense.
She said we talk about it.
And if you look at the Wakanda Forever trailer,
I say this. And see, here's where we're delving into theory. We're delving in. We're gonna dive. We're just gonna dive.
The next videos are all theory. So
we're gonna dive. So here's my suggestion for what I hope and love. Sorry, I broke into the preacher wife for that. Sorry, my bad.
Don't bring Miss Whitney into this. Unless we're going to have a broken boiler. Don't bring Miss Whitney into this.
Turn the heat up. Oh, yeah, I'm using all the references today. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I'm not going to spell it out. If you don't know what that quote is from, go look it up. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing, Chris. Don't say nothing. Don't be giving them the answer. We ain't giving out no cheat codes tonight.
And my thing is, if your fire truck didn't light up before, but it lights up now, come holler at me.
Yeah, just remember, crack is whack.
There you go. But okay, here's my theory for what I would love to be in this movie. Even if it's not, I will still be happy. I will still love it. I'm still, girl. I got my outfit and my shoes already planned out. I got my outfit and my shoes already planned out for this thing.
And Chris,
But
we love you, but wear some khakis.
Oh, jeez.
oh, also there's a cap. There's been an update to the caveat for y'all. Sorry,
No, he's a ginger. He needs to wear some khakis.
no,
I
no,
know
no, no,
what
no,
he wants.
Pause.
Whatever.
There's been an update to our non-melanated people.
He
So
melanated though. He got a Spanish
I'm,
mother.
I'm saying he can pass along the message, girl. Shush.
He ain't gonna pass along the message. He be letting them sit out there and get them burst. But go ahead.
So we are at the Black Melanated Council and the High Melanated Court have come together to ask if we can have our white allies and whatever else and so on and so forth. Just buy the movie ticket and give it to a black family who know they want to go but can't afford to go. And y'all just camp out outside in case any shit or shenanigans happen.
He is my security for if some shit happens.
Again, I'm not talking to him. Again, he's passing the message.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying for the people watching, in case they see. I don't want them to be like, you supposed to be standing outside. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. You get what I'm.
Yes, I got it. I get what you're saying. But no, again, this didn't come down from me. It wasn't from me. I ain't say it. I'm just repeating.
No, the High Council continues to speak because first of all, I done had to order 3 dresses for my auntie Nita Bug's wedding. And I got like 6711 outfits because I don't even like purple. But let's just
I know. So yeah,
here we go. Let's go on to the next one.
Guys, how come no one is talking about T'Challa and Nakia's baby? Because yes, they have a child and he's probably like 6 years old. Oh, you don't believe me? You want evidence? Fine, I got you. But when November comes, don't say I never told you. Okay, here's the proof that T'Challa and Nakia have a child who's at least 6 to 8 years old. Exhibit A, Nakia has long dreadlocks now. Long dreadlocks. Why would a spy have long dreadlocks? That's very inconvenient, especially when it comes to coming up with disguises and all of that. So I highly doubt that after Black Panther 1, she left Wakanda to continue being a spy. Speaking of the first Black Panther movie, welcome to Exhibit B. Remember the conversation they have here before they start the mission inside the casino in Busan? Nakia tells T'Challa about a mess that she had with some ivory traders, and T'Challa asks, will there be any mess tonight, Miss Kenyan heiress? And Nakia responds, depends on how quickly we finish the mission. Sex jokes, Nakia, that's what we're doing now. Which brings us to Exhibit C. Black Panther 1 ends with them professing their love for each other. You think babies were not made that night? These look like the type of exes who hit it raw, my man. Now, in case you're not convinced that T'Challa and Nakia have like a 6-year-old son, let me ask you this. What's been Nakia doing since Black Panther 1? She wasn't there in the Battle of Wakanda in Infinity War. She wasn't even there in Endgame when all the warriors of Wakanda went to fight Thanos as well. She's a better fighter than Shuri and she didn't go to fight Thanos? Khona into off. Khona into off and into angshongo. Now I know some of you want to bring up this scene where Queen Ramonda says her entire family is gone. Come on guys, Wakandans have been lying about their existence for centuries. You think they wouldn't keep a secret like this? Now, before I give you more evidence that T'Challa and Nakia have a son, my fellow black people, you have heard that we are wearing all white to the premiere of Wakanda Forever, right? All white Afrocentric attire, people. People, you have 3 months to prepare your white African attire. I'm going with this here, right here. I'm going to find it wherever I can. Tutu, if you can hook me up, please do. Now, back to Nakia and T'Challa's son. Exhibit D, this scene in the trailer which shows Queen Ramonda kind of the same way it showed Nakia in the beginning of the trailer. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they are foreshadowing that in the future, Nakia will have the role of Ramonda, with her and T'Challa's son being the future king, of course. Because remember, Queen Ramonda also has dreadlocks. Long dreadlocks symbolize acquired knowledge and wisdom. Wisdom of a queen mother, That's why Nakia has long dreads now. She's preparing for her role as the future Queen Mother of Wakanda.
So, going along with what he just said, I was just like, here's how this goes. Here's how this goes. Again, whatever factor Namor is gonna play in this, whatever dichotomy that's gonna happen, that's story beat A. Story beat B is I'm sorry, no tea, no shade. Where were you when we were supposed to be fighting Thanos twice now? Oh man, because there were some years inside of that.
5 years.
So it's so we got the 5 years that the people were disappeared, disappropriated.
They snapped out for 5 years. It took 5 years for them to undo what Thanos did, but it did not take them back to the beginning. I need people to realize that when they undid what Thanos did,
they were hanging with the Eternals.
Did not take back the 5 years that they lost, because remember, people got remarried thinking that their spouses were gone. People had more children thinking their children were gone. People did a lot of things because they waited years. And that's why you see a lot of 2-year-olds, 1-year-olds, 1-year marriages, 2-year marriages. They were gone for 5 years.
But pause right there. Pause right there. In Infinity War, darling, they were inside the castle. Where were you? Where? Unless you was sitting back with your feet up and pregnant, ma'am.
She was hanging with the Eternals.
Ma'am. Unless you were sitting up there fat and pregnant.
Let's not skate past what Chris just said. She was hanging with the Eternals.
Girl, if you was hanging out with them, why didn't you say something?
But what's the code of the Eternals?
They don't interfere. I got it.
Not only that, we don't talk about Bruno.
Of course, I know. I got it.
But my thing is, old girl was sitting, because we know she's always down for a fight.
Girl, anytime that she can get a gun in her hand, she will have one.
But hold on, we got another one to add to this.
Put on some Jordans and go.
Exactly. Here we go.
If you guys are wondering, yes, I saw the tweet. This is why I say reading the books are very important. Like, you saying that you need to see her train is like saying you need to see her earn the role of Black Panther. And I don't know if you know this, she's Wakandan. Wakandans at birth are trained to fight, literally to the death. But why talk? Allow me to show you what I'm talking about. First things first, Black Panther issue 20. You see Shuri doing what she's always done. Train, specifically training with her brother. And as her brother gets the better of her over experience, she always gets back up, eager to go again. It's because of this, when it was time for her to take up the mantle, she already came with the skills needed to complete her task. Although Bass did not choose her to be Black Panther, she still became Black Panther and was an effective leader. This was important because her brother was in recovery while she was Black Panther. And she did a marvelous job being a leader and a queen of the most powerful nation in 5 galaxies and the Earth. While at the same time, she is not a pushover whatsoever. The girl is dangerous. And if you underestimate her, you will fall like everyone else. Not only that, when Namor had the Phoenix Force and he flooded Wakanda, she was the one that gave the order to annihilate Atlantis. Pretty much decimating and almost annihilating an entire race of people. I'm telling you, Namor should have thought twice. Now, don't get me wrong. The first time her and Namor had an encounter, she actually beat this man. I'm talking about she beat him within an inch of his life. And I'm telling you right now, she almost killed him. The only reason he survived is because he fell in water and was able to recuperate. After being revitalized, he was stronger and was able to take her on. Which is probably how that's going to go in the movie, because they're fighting near water. But Soups, even in the movie, you could tell she could fight. Shuri is more than just being intelligent. Although she has created all her own suit, while being able to create technology that can destroy planets in an instant, while at the same time inventing the technology that gives Black Panther the ability to be a speedster. She is not just her mind, she is also her body. This goes hand to hand with all Wakandans. Because, Soups, I'm pretty sure you actually do read comics, right? So you would know that T'Challa is actually smarter than Reed Richards. And Reed Richards has actually come to T'Challa to solve several problems he himself could not. You want to keep it 100, Black Panther one-tapped Thanos by putting together some trash and laid his ass out. And even with Shuri having her new powers and abilities, she is still one of the most intelligent people in the universe, not just a planet. That goes hand in hand with the women of Wakanda, whether you are Dora Milaje or a Midnight Angel. The Wakandans are not only intelligent, but they are master combatants. Which is why 9 times out of 10, when T'Challa and Namor fight, T'Challa always beats him. But that's because T'Challa has the experience fighting characters like him on a regular basis. Where at the time when she fought him, she had not had the experience fighting high-level characters like him, but she still did well. Shuri has trained her whole entire life since birth to be a warrior. Just like Namor, T'Challa, and many others, she is no less of a warrior than anybody. But I'm pretty sure you knew that, because I'm pretty sure you did some reading. Don't get me wrong, I think she's going to lose that fight too, only without experience. In the comics now, ooh! So, Superfly, you say, but we're talking about the MCU, and she hasn't been portrayed as a skilled fighter like her brother. I'm sorry, maybe you didn't pay attention to this, but I got you. I'm just gonna ask this quick question. Does T'Challa have superhuman strength, durability, speed, endurance, etc.? Did he not have all that? Throughout the movie, did he not wear an impenetrable armor? And did she have those same advantages? No, she didn't, because she was very human. Now, how do we know that she can fight or that she's a great strategist or even knows how to apply her skill set in battle? Well, first things first, let's look at the suits that she created. Both suits were designed and created by her. Even in the first movie, she explained that she is the one that puts the updates in every piece of equipment that T'Challa had. So the combat capabilities of each suit is designed and programmed by her, which means she would have to know how war and combat works to do that. Well, at the same time, you said she was barely a match for Killmonger. Again, I don't know if you've ever studied the art of war. If I have to fight an opponent that has an impenetrable armor, they're super strong, super fast, and durable, and I'm just human, then I'm pretty sure I'm going to use long-range weapons. I'm not going to try to box them, but that's common sense. The majority of war, all warriors, for the most part, use long-range weapons before they have to get hand-to-hand. That's common knowledge. Before anybody asks, well, King Lion, how do you know so much about weapons and yada, yada, yada? I'm from Texas. I go to a gun range 3 times a month. I have an armory. But besides that, not only did she create those weapons and that armor and everything else that T'Challa had, she knew how to take the suits down, in which the Dora Milaje would have taken Killmonger if it wasn't for the suit she created, in which gave him a way out. At the same time, she knew the suit's weaknesses, in which, with her help, T'Challa was able to exploit that weakness and land a killing blow, taking out Killmonger. Before anybody says, well, King Lion, why didn't she just go get a suit like that, yada, yada, yada? If you watch the movie, she didn't have time. But she snuck in her lab, she was only able to grab a couple of things. She wasn't able to prepare or grab a better suit or better equipment. This is because she was not at home, seeing as her home got taken over. As I said before, just like in the comics, depending on what she's wearing depends on how she fights and reacts. T'Challa had the heart-shaped herb. He was one of the very few who could go hand-to-hand with her, because again, he had the strength to do it. She was human. She was not a super soldier, and it was just her and Nakia. You got a character wearing an unstoppable suit. All she got is gauntlets, no herb, nothing. She's just human. Y'all want her to box him? Like, make that make sense. It took a group of Dora Milaje just to put him on his knees, and he only survived them because of the suit she created. You can have all the skill in the world, but what are you gonna do against an impenetrable armor, super strength, and durability, and you're trained? Y'all act like this is supposed to be a Jackie Chan moment or something. Even in the comics, she is shown using long-range weapons when she has no powers and no suit. But when she puts a suit on, it's hands all day. Like, come on now.
Again, I knew that was gonna happen. Ooh, sorry.
So hold on. Let me put in this caveat. Let me put in this slight caveat. One, we all know if you're gonna stick to canon, Shuri becomes the new Black Panther. But let's look at the first Black Panther movie, where Shuri, as a sibling joke, and anybody who has siblings, y'all know how we roast each other.
You're gonna do it, aren't you?
T'Challa was like, who else is gonna challenge me? And Shuri said, nobody laughed. Everybody gasped. That lets you know how powerful she was at the time, that they gasped like, she could take over T'Challa. And we don't know what her plan is for the rest of us. They knew how powerful she was, but they didn't know if she was going to stand on the right side or the wrong side of history. And that's where that collective gasp was. If she was not capable, they would have just laughed. If I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong.
Again,
So,
here's the problem with this. Oh, sorry, Chris. I'm sorry. I did that again. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we're saying Halle Berry couldn't play that. Okay.
Shade, dishonor.
Yeah, Halle Berry. Halle Berry.
Dishonor.
Bringing the storm.
But see, here's the fun. Here's where we get problems.
Hold on, before you get into it, D-Mac. First of all, ginger root, ginger beer. We know the only storm that you actually acknowledge and respect is me. So we not gonna do that. And we know I'll wreak I will wreak havoc. But go ahead, D-Mac.
Anyway, good Lord. Can't even have some semblance of order.
We got order.
No,
order.
Remember, we went to Youngstorm after first class.
And we did. Oh, and y'all, this Halloween, I'm finally gonna give y'all what y'all want.
Storm.
I ain't gonna be able to see because I'm gonna have to take my glasses off. In the context that I'm gonna be able to get my level of prescription, I'm not going to be able to get to change my eye color because y'all don't realize I have color contacts in plus my glasses so that I can look like the black chick that y'all will listen to. No, my natural eye color is gray.
I got it. You told me this already.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all see the eye color that so
anyway, as I was gonna say, but like I was saying before, here's the problem with people in these movies. Y'all go in expecting that they're gonna they do still have material that they have to follow, whether it appears on screen or not. They still have material that they need to follow because, again, that goes with the contract that Marvel and Disney signed. If you don't at least give me maybe I'll say 50% of what's at least in the books, and then you can make up the rest of whatever you want to do on your own. Because trust and believe, darling, I can't say, and I'm not taking away from the Latino community because y'all need shine just like we do.
Let me correct you real quick because there are a lot of people who are looking at Namor and saying that's Latine. That's indigenous culture.
Oh no, I'm just sorry. My bad. Kindly rephrase. I'm not saying the indigenous did not need their own shine, but what I am saying at this particular moment, people are already getting up in their feelings already, and the movie ain't even out yet.
And my thing is, hey, people, let's not forget. Sorry. The Black community has never been exclusive. We've always been inclusive. And there are certain aspects of the Latine, the Hispanic community, that have also been inclusive and not exclusive. Are there parts of both of those communities that have been exclusive? Yes, I am not going to pretend that that doesn't exist. But let me say this to say this. Indigenous is a global community.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot say because there's somebody, I just found out about this today. My oldest daughter brought this to my attention. And my youngest son called me to bring this to my attention. I know Chris doesn't know this, but D-Mac knows this. My schedule and just personal family things have kind of taken me off of my research thing this week. So I'm very thankful to people who have kept me in the loop and in the know. But there are people working diligently to divide us. And we are not divided. we see what's going on, and we see that some of y'all have subscribed to the tenets of white supremacy. And we're not going to do that. Not today, tomorrow, or the next day. So I'm trying to choose my words wisely. Do not comment because you think I don't go back and see additional comments after we end the live. Do not message me perpetuating tropes. It will not work here. And for people who are not indigenous, who are not black, who feel that they cannot come to the premiere of Wakanda Forever, please do. Just because you see us collectively online going, hey, we're putting together this wardrobe, we're doing this. We're just saying respect our cultural aspects as we respect your cultural aspects. Do not cosplay us for a movie.
That's it.
Just like next Saturday.
I don't know about putting khakis on though for me, but
Yeah, don't put no khakis. But just like next Saturday, my auntie, my mother's one and only sister, she's having her bridal shower. I know what I'm going to wear.
Princess Leia.
Pretty close. Because, you know, this is my auntie that loves Star Wars the way that we do. Okay. But I already know what she's wearing. We're not going to talk about that right now. You've already alluded to it, but we're going to leave that till next week. It's just respect the boundaries that people have, because a lot of us haven't had representation. I'm not going to speak for Chris, but I feel like in a certain way I can. I'm pretty sure your mom didn't see growing up herself represented in media.
No.
And I'm pretty sure even to this day, you don't 100% see yourself represented in media.
No, I clearly feel like my own little branch of minority based on my mother's background and how I grew up through a diverse environment and the effects I had in combination of what my mother talked about growing up, where she never saw that coming. She never saw that growing up in the era she did, in the town that she did, that, you know, she was going to have to, you know, sit in the back of the church or be told not to go to friends' houses. And like I said, she's my complexion. And, you know, that's where the country was, even in back in the day when you know, now you look at the Hispanic community and all that goes into, depending on which country you're talking about. And everybody thinks, oh, what do you mean? You know, Spanish is the second language and this and that. People quickly forgot parts of other history and the effects it had on other communities. And it didn't matter for a lot of people. A lot of people, what they didn't understand or wanted to understand, they did not accept. And so that ran through many communities, and some communities as prominent as they are these days. In the history of the U.S., that's a lot more current history than than the Native Americans and that sort, but still, nonetheless, a lot of what I grew up hearing, stories being told. My mother couldn't grow up speaking her language that her mom spoke because she was afraid of having an accent. That would have counted against her too. So my mom was always active in school events, whether she was on the yearbook committee or she played, softball, or she always tried to stay active to try and be as accepted as possible, but yet still couldn't go to
play along to get along.
So, I took that as I grew, me and my sisters. So a lot of people, are definitely affected by their childhood and what they're taught. You are taught at home something. And, my mom instilled in us how to look at people. That was number one, how to look at people, So there was a lot instilled that I take with me. So when people look at me a little different, I am. I am different.
And actually, that's how Chris and I originally bonded.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a group. I'll just say it like that. We were in a group, and we're
supporting another community that's out there.
Yeah, and we were. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. We were why people kept coming back to that group. We were why people were interacting with that group, and we were just being ourselves. And
yeah, but that lifestyle was not new to me. I mean, I've been that way.
It wasn't new to me either.
I've been dating outside my race since way back.
Yeah, and I actually reached out.
New or experienced.
Yeah, but I reached out to Chris. Chris, I don't even know if you remember this first interaction, but I do. I reached out to you.
I'm old. I don't remember. So.
But I reached out to Chris because I was like, I've never had a male perspective. I've never had this, and he was explaining because, like I said, we were in a group. We were keeping the group alive because we were putting a spin on our life experience, where we were getting people to talk about things, and everybody was connecting, and we made great friendships in that group outside of just the two of us. And I reached out to Chris because I was like, okay, I've never had this perspective. I want more of this perspective.
Yeah.
And then we found out, we had other things in common.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. People within the United States, and I'm saying this specifically to the United States because if you know me, you already know. But even when I've traveled places and I had friends close to me that have been able to travel places that I haven't gotten to yet, that doesn't mean I'm not getting to it. I haven't been there yet. And they say things. And when Chris and I would talk, or D-Mac and I would talk, there was just something that stuck with me where I'm like, the United States has bastardized itself.
You didn't know that?
Let's not forget when I got here, but I was just like, and my shock was these people who proclaim to be full-fledged adults that know everything, they're patriots, and they don't. Yeah. But you all's final thoughts on the night, because we're almost to the we ain't done this in a long time. We're almost at 2 hours, y'all.
We took to another level.
Aww. I didn't even really get a chance to time in.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, before y'all give y'all final thoughts, I do want to play this video. It's 2 minutes and 39 seconds. I'm going to drop us from the feed because I do feel like this is important. If you disagree, tell me on the other end. But I'm going to drop this out. I want us to just at least get this video in. Anything else that we didn't get in, I'll put into the show tomorrow. And y'all know I'm a woman of my word. But let's get this before we get the final thoughts. Give me 2 and 2, fellas.
It's been 5 years since I was here. and 5 years ago, sat about right there, and we premiered the first footage from Black Panther 1. And sitting next to me, right to my left, was our T'Challa, the late, great Chadwick Boseman. The cast, including Chad, they hadn't seen the footage yet. So when we played it, you know, he was right next to me and he was excited, and he grabbed my left shoulder with his hand. And if you ever saw Chad in person, he had these enormous hands. They were just gigantic. It was part of the reason why he filled out the Panther suit so well. And he was really, really strong, and he was getting excited as the clip went on and on, longer and longer. He was just squeezing down on my shoulder the whole time, and when it went off, he was like, "Oh man, that was amazing! Congratulations!" And I couldn't even lift my arm, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and I felt his hand the rest of that day for a few hours, you know what I mean? And standing here with y'all right now, listening to that music from those artists and thinking about it all, I promise you, I can feel his hand on me right now. So thank y'all for that. Chad is no longer with us physically, but his spirit, his passion, his genius, his pride in his culture, and the impact that he made on this industry will be felt forever.
Amen.
And we put our love for Chadwick into this film, but we also put, you know, our passion. This film has a ton of action. It has humor. It's a roller coaster of a movie, and it goes to new places in Wakanda that we haven't seen before. But it also goes to new corners of the MCU. And I'm so excited that we'll get to share it with you all in November.
I just know that Chadwick is like looking down at us and like he's here in spirit.
Give me a moment.
So tonight I'm going to speak on my moment tonight of...
Hold on, just a second. Give me a
Okay.
When the news broke that Chadwick Boseman passed, I had my tiny humans with me. They found a love for Black Panther because of me and my utter obsession with the MCU, especially Black Panther. Certain variations of Storm, certain variations of Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel. And I called my son and I said, I can't tell little AJ that T'Challa died. I had a full breakdown. But let me add a caveat that wasn't included in this clip. The first position on everything regarding this production was Les Boyd. They still left Chadwick Boseman as the number one slot, which means the lead character, the lead person in a movie. Publicly, no other person of color has been given that honor. Let me repeat that. Publicly, no other person of color has been given that honor. So, for those of you who kept the same energy last year when they told us they would not recast T'Challa. That does not mean Black Panther will not take on the canon of the comics or the canon of whatever the MCU cinematic universe will take on. They gave this man his just dues.
Wait.
I'm going to step out and you all give your final thoughts on that video.
I gotta salute before I say anything. When this movie premiered, I literally went to go see this at least about 3 times. Literally 3 times. And when it finally got released on Blu-ray, and I think they even did a DVD copy, I made sure I got this. This was a Best Buy exclusive, so I don't know what other exclusives were out for other stores.
Yeah, the one I had was a Target exclusive or something.
Yours is nice too. I like your inside better than my inside, because your inside is a bit more cleaner than mine. But it is what it is. But I had to have this, and I also bought my mom one, and she hasn't opened it. So sweet deal. She hasn't opened it. I'm a leave it unopened, so in case somebody want to be cute, I'm like, here we go. I'm selling it unopened. But I said I needed to have this because this was a moment in time that we have not had a celebration of the entirety of our Black diaspora. We have not had one since coming to America, which was in 1986 or 7. I would have to look it up, but don't quote me. But that was the last time that we had seen us from a royalty aspect to a middle class aspect to, like all 3 of what we have normally. Like, you can only be either the second, middle class, or poor. Those have been our only 2 realms. We have not had a royalty aspect for us in our story, and the fact that they were able to, like, even with Shaka Zulu, again, I don't know if you've ever seen it. That was a moment for us to see us as something outside of complete slavery. Like, we had not seen that. And like, so when you had Coming to America, again, we had the 3 aspects of our story actually on screen to see. And when this came out in 2018, it was so monumental for Black people to actually see us. It's not as the best friend, the drug addict, the pimp, the drug dealer, the best friend. We actually had a role in our story to actually tell our story. So the fact that they, as Taz said, they said, look, the character T'Challa himself, we're not moving him. That's his spot. Nobody will reclaim that role or replace him in that role. That's it. That is all she wrote. That is murder she wrote. So I thank them for that. And I'm glad they said the mantle itself is still up for debate, but not the character. I was like, okay, thank you. Because that was just too monumental to just say, oh, well, we'll just get another actor to replace him. Thank you for that. But you go ahead.
Well, let's not forget, even if they would have replaced an actor, they would have taken that person apart. But go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, to me, first starting out on that, to me, it would have been equal to somebody else playing Wolverine for a lot of people. There's or another Iron Man.
Oh, they would have been up in
arms. There's certain people. I can't see Iron Man without Robert Downey. We can't imagine Wolverine, at least at this point, other than Hugh Jackman, because it was so like 2 decades, you know, so like over 20 years of Hugh Jackman.
Being
Most appearance. I mean, he superseded the 2 waves of the first set of X-Men to the young set of X-Men. I mean, and it was still Hugh Jackman. I mean, so, but with Black Panther, and we got that sample size in Civil War. It took me back to a place when, kind of how I felt when Blade came out. Blade was the first, not just another Wesley Snipes movie. It wasn't just, you know, hey, what is this attached to? You know, they didn't really plaster Marvel all over the place. A lot of people didn't know where Blade came from. But
it was just a story for them.
But it had no attachment to a blueprint like the Avengers, like where you had franchises and you had this. It was a standalone that people didn't really know what to tie it to. Black Panther, if they hadn't done the Civil War, then it wouldn't have been introduced basically almost the same, except that it didn't have its own franchise prior to anything having to do with Avengers.
See, they wet our whistle with Civil War. They was like,
right. And
let me just
did a quick intro. It wasn't. We didn't even get an origins prior to the sample size. You know, it was like, okay, we're going straight into this, and then we're going to go to then we're going to look at some form of origins, or what are we even going to do? But when it came out, for me, I was just hoping whatever they did, they were going to be on the ball, and they weren't going to let this drop. They couldn't afford to let this drop, and be some sort of it's a write-off. We'll compare it to, maybe Ant-Man or something. I mean, they couldn't afford for it to be a write-off. So,
and the fact that it was literally written, he said he had this written in around 2016. I think he said.
I'm not sure when.
I think if you can find the video, yeah, he said he had the script written around 2016, and they were planning on doing it around 2016, right. But Marvel held him up until 2018, and they held him up until I think around 2017 into 2018 to get it finished shooting it and then premiered in 2018.
We got no benefit of having the prior tree of origins like the other franchise, like Thor did, like Iron Man did, like Captain America was doing. We had no set to gear us towards even Civil War. So the whole intro, in the scheme of things, was rushed compared to what we had already been accustomed to with Thor and all of them.
Yeah, because we just saw him be there for his father die.
Right.
Yep.
Spider-Man got held up because of Sony. Sony held up us from getting the real Spider-Man in the hands of Marvel Studios until the deal got worked out for distribution and all that.
Pause there.
Sony was in their feelings because they lost their dealings with Vio.
Yeah.
And Sony took out, and I'm going to say this from a tech perspective. Sony was like the bitter baby mama. That it was like, I was toxic in this relationship and they moved on, but I'm going to mess up this relationship for them too. That's how Sony was. When Sony had to split from Vio, Sony got in their feelings. And that's when we started to get what we got. And
you know how it went. But
now they are going to get the 4, which I guess this would be maybe third luck is the charm. I guess I don't know.
I hope so. Okay, here's the thing: what I hope for the Fantastic Four, which again is a good group. I like them. The animated series back in the 90s, I watched that religiously. I'm not gonna lie.
But the thing about it is, every time they adapt the Fantastic Four into a movie, what are they missing from the animated series? Their companions. We don't get Silver Surfer. We don't get a lot of things. And they need to actually incorporate this into this new adaptation.
Well, see, here's the problem. Like you're saying, the connections to other parts of Marvel universe, they cut them off at the head. So, like, you're running around with the chicken with the head.
Fantastic Four is DCEU.
Oh, shenanigans! God, my brain. I'm tired. This is what happens when.
Yeah, we're both tired. But
wait, Fantastic? Are you what? Really?
They're part of the Justice League.
The Fantastic Four
are part of the Justice League, along with the Silver Surfer, who was always around the Fantastic Four.
Oh, I'm questioning my whole entire life.
Yeah, at the end of that, we'll just say Wakanda Forever.
Questioning my whole life.
Yeah, we always go into the Green Lantern, but no.
No, it says Marvel Comics here, ma'am. Yeah. Don't come for my neck like that. I almost cried.
They were still a part of the Justice League.
I almost cried. I was like, what?
Ryan,
okay. Hold on. First of all, I am still the historical queen. And like I said, I'll go grab the encyclopedias. Let's not forget, historically, that the reason why we have characters on both sides, actually all sides of the spectrum, because the MCU and the DCU are not the only things that matter, because Spawn, Blade, etc., they fall into some gray areas with some other comic book creators that are there.
I almost cried though. I was like, oh my God.
You're proud you won't. But when it comes to comic books and history,
girl, I seriously almost cried because I thought my whole entire life was a lie.
Well, your whole entire life is still a lie. I still we know what this is. This might be conversations with Taz, get into it with Taz and Chris, but Taz still ruins everything. But as always, y'all join me tomorrow. We're gonna continue the conversation. Love you guys for coming out, the Ginger and the Cuz. Until tomorrow, and in about 30 to 45 minutes, join me on Instagram Live. I'll be going live with King Kane Allen, and we're gonna be bringing you more commentary on life, popular topics, etc., etc. Because I'm that chick. Bye, y'all.